Welcome. Today, we're diving into the story of one of the most infamous figures in the Bible, Jezebel. She's often remembered as the worst woman in Scripture, but why? What did she do that was so terrible, and what were the consequences of her actions? Let's break it down, step by step, and uncover the lessons her story teaches us. Jezebel's story begins with her marriage to King Ahab of Israel, found in 1 Kings 16 verse 31, and right away, we get a glimpse of why she's seen as such a villain. Jezebel wasn't an Israelite. She was a Phoenician princess from Sidon, a wealthy and powerful kingdom. Her father, Ethbaal, was not only a king but also a high priest of the god Baal, one of the Canaanite deities. When Jezebel married Ahab, she brought her worship of Baal and Asherah with her, and things went downhill from there. Ahab, influenced by Jezebel, built a temple for Baal in Samaria, Israel's capital, and set up an altar to this false god. Jezebel didn't just promote Baal worship, she actively tried to wipe out the worship of the true God, Yahweh. She ordered the killing of the prophets of Yahweh, essentially declaring war on the God of Israel, found in 1 Kings 18 verse 4. Right from the start, Jezebel's story raises a question: how far can someone's influence lead others away from what's right? In her case, her influence corrupted an entire nation. Jezebel wasn't just content with introducing idol worship, she went to extreme lengths to maintain power and control. One of the most famous events tied to her name is the showdown on Mount Carmel, 1 Kings 18 verses 20 to 40. The showdown was about Prophet Elijah challenging the prophets of Baal to prove who the true God was. While Baal's prophets danced, shouted, and cut themselves and still no answer, Elijah prayed to Yahweh, and fire came down from heaven, consuming the offering on his altar. This miraculous event should have been a turning point, but Jezebel wasn't moved. Instead of repenting, she doubled down on her wickedness. When she heard what Elijah had done, she sent him a death threat, forcing him to flee for his life. But her wickedness didn't stop there. In 1 Kings 21, we see one of her most ruthless acts. Ahab wanted a vineyard owned by a man named Naboth, but Naboth refused to sell it because it was his family inheritance. Ahab sulked, and Jezebel took matters into her own hands. She forged letters in Ahab's name, accused Naboth of blasphemy and treason, and had him falsely executed. Then she simply gave the vineyard to Ahab, as if nothing had happened. Think about that for a moment. Jezebel used lies, manipulation, and murder to satisfy her husband's whims. Her actions were the very definition of abusing power, and they came with severe consequences. Jezebel's story shows us that wickedness, no matter how powerful it seems, always leads to destruction. After Naboth's murder, Elijah prophesied that Jezebel and Ahab's entire dynasty would be wiped out and that Jezebel's body would be eaten by dogs. It was a chilling prophecy, but Jezebel ignored it. Years later, after Ahab's death in battle, Jezebel's time came. In 2 Kings 9, a man named Jehu, anointed by God to bring justice, confronted her. Jezebel, ever defiant, painted her face, adorned herself, and taunted Jehu from her window. But Jehu ordered her eunuchs to throw her out, and they did. Her body was trampled by horses, and when they went to bury her, all that was left were her skull, hands, and feet, just as Elijah had prophesied, found in 1 Kings 21 verses 23 to 24. Her gruesome death wasn't just about punishment, it was a symbol of the consequences of unchecked wickedness. Jezebel's life had been about control, manipulation, and rebellion against God, but in the end, she lost everything. So, why is Jezebel remembered as the worst woman in the Bible? It's not just about what she did, it's about what she represented. Jezebel embodied the dangers of unchecked ambition, the misuse of power, and the rejection of what is good and true. But her story isn't just about her. It's a cautionary tale for all of us. Here are 3 lessons we can take away. 1. The power of influence. Jezebel's influence led an entire nation away from God. It's a reminder that our actions, words, and beliefs don't just affect us, they affect the people around us. Are we using our influence to build others up or tear them down? 2. The danger of idolatry. Jezebel's devotion to Baal shows how destructive it can be when we put anything, money, power, relationships, above God. Idolatry may look different today, but the lesson remains: when we prioritize the wrong things, it leads to chaos. 3. The consequences of wickedness. Jezebel's life shows that evil might seem powerful for a time, but it always leads to destruction. It's a sobering reminder that our choices matter and that justice, even if delayed, always comes. Jezebel's story is one of the darkest in the Bible, but it's also one of the most important. It challenges us to examine our own lives. Are we using our influence wisely? Are we prioritizing what's truly important? And are we living in a way that honors what is good and just? Thank you for joining me today. Jezebel's story may be chilling, but it's also a powerful reminder of the choices we face every day. Let's learn from her mistakes and strive to live lives of integrity, humility, and faithfulness. See you next time.